Now at 9, Richard Allen's attorneys are speaking out what they have to say about the evidence.
The Supreme Court blocks the federal student loan debt forgiveness program. We have when they will bring up arguments.
The Senate voted to end the threat of a rail strike, what the new bail entails.
Survivors of the Uvalde school shooting filed a lawsuit. Who they filed it against.
We got wind, we got rain, and we got warmer temperatures, so we're gonna have all that in my full.
Delaware County's only live television newscast from Ball State University's Unified Media Newsroom. You're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Olivia Sloniker.
And I'm Josh Hoover.
Things are about to get brighter in downtown Muncie.
Cannon Commons had their Light Up show earlier this evening. This, along with live performances, joyful music, sitting on Santa's lap, and many more fun activities that pulled the community together. The Christmas tree got brighter as the animated light show began, synchronizing with Christmas music. In the month of December, every Thursday through Sunday, at Cannon Commons, there will be light shows every hour starting from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m.
Love Christmas lights, and I'm very into the Christmas spirit, so it's just something to get out of the house, and it was just nice to see the smile on my kids' faces.
For more information, visit downtownmuncie.org.
Let's go ahead and toss it to Ryan for a quick look at weather.
Well, guys, we had some chilly temperatures today. I mean, it was below average today. Even yesterday it was. After we seen 60-degree temperatures back on Wednesday or early Wednesday morning. Now we're gonna see some temperatures moderate just a little bit. We're gonna have some wind with that. More than my full forecast. See, it's 29 degrees already in Indianapolis, 26 in Fort Wayne, and 29 in Shelbyville at this hour. And those winds, they're calm right now. But ladies and gentlemen, do not let that fool you, because the winds are going to pick up. And of course, these next 12 hours, you'll see that we're going to be staying in the 30s, especially as those clouds increase and those winds start to, southwest winds start to increase. Have all that in my full forecast.
We're following updates in the Delphi double murder case. Suspect Richard Allen's attorneys are speaking out after a judge ordered court documents unsealed earlier this week.
They say Allen contacted the police shortly after Libby German and Abby Williams went missing to tell them he was on the trail that day and saw the girls, but Allen's contact with the girls was brief. The next time Allen heard from the police was October of this year. He was arrested October 28th. The attorneys also say during the 5 years Allen volunteered to provide information to the police, he, quote, continued with his normal routine, including not disposing of his clothes, his vehicle, or his guns. The attorneys say they will continue to discover information and will offer it when they can and maintain Allen is innocent.
In your national headlines, the U.S. Senate voted today to approve a House-passed resolution to end the threat of a rail strike. Before that happened, the Senate defeated a measure backed by progressives to offer paid sick leave. Instead, senators moved to overwhelmingly approve a House bill which left out that benefit. Here's Senator Elizabeth Warren's take on today's vote.
On the one hand, we don't want to shut down the economy. On the other, we don't want to say to rail workers, if you have a heart attack or you break your leg, you either show up to work or you're going to lose your job.
Now, the bill will immediately go to President Joe Biden to be signed into law. The action is expected to avert a strike that could have had a devastating effect on the U.S. economy. President Joe Biden promised to continue working to secure paid sick leave for all U.S. workers.
President Biden welcomed his French counterpart to the White House in his first state visit since taking office. Today, the president held a bilateral meeting with French President Emmanuel Macron in the Oval Office. They are expected to discuss a number of topics during their talks, including Iran, China, and Ukraine, with Macron calling the Russian invasion in Ukraine, quote, one of their main topics of discussion. U.S. and French officials will also work on moving along group discussions on space, cyberspace, and energy issues during the state visit.
We are pleased to see you choose to honor your usual commitments and your campaign promises to become involved once again in the world's biggest challenges, including the climate and health. It's a change. We were able to resist for a few years, and now we are making a joint effort once again.
These discussions started after last year's submarine dispute.
The U.S. Supreme Court said today President Biden's student loan debt forgiveness program will remain blocked until now. But the justices agreed to hear oral arguments of the case in February, with a decision expected by June. Biden's program would offer up to $20,000 of debt relief to millions of qualified borrowers. Nearly 2 weeks ago, the Biden administration started notifying people who are approved. In the case before the Supreme Court, a district court dismissed a challenge brought by a group of states, holding that they couldn't prove the legal injury necessary to bring the challenge.
New signs the U.S. economy might be on the upswing. Prices at the pump continue to plunge, and a key measure indicates inflation might be peaking. Gloria Pazmino breaks down what this means for your wallet.
Economic relief may be on the horizon. A key measure of consumer prices slowed down in October, according to a report from the Commerce Department released Thursday. It's a sign that inflation may be cooling, and that's good news for your wallet.
Prices for things like clothes, television, and appliances are going down. That's good news for the holiday season.
The Personal Consumption Expenditures Price Index, or PCE, rose 6% in October compared to the previous year. The measure is the Federal Reserve's preferred inflation tracker because it provides a fuller picture of consumer prices. Lower gas prices could also bring some relief to budget-strapped households. According to AAA, a gallon of regular gas is now selling for $3.47 nationally. It's the first week since February the national average has fallen below $3.50 a gallon.
Gas prices are down about $1.52 per gallon since June, for a savings of $160 per month for American families with 2 cars.
Chairman Jerome Powell says the Fed could pull back on its pace of aggressive rate hikes as soon as this month, but he's still cautious.
We will stay the course until the job is done.
I'm Gloria Pazmino reporting.
The Environmental Protection Agency is proposing the U.S. add more biofuel to its gasoline in coming years. It released the proposal today as part of its Renewable Fuel Standard program. The EPA estimates that adding more biofuel to the nation's gasoline supply for the next 3 years would reduce U.S. oil imports by up to 180,000 barrels per year. The biofuel addition could also slightly reduce greenhouse gas emissions from gasoline.
Coming up, new data shows just how costly Hurricane Ian has been.
And important updates on the University of Idaho students who were stabbed to death. What state police have to say next.
Riding the bus is an easy thing to do. Last year, we carried 60,000 riders from the Ball State area. 50,000 of those were students. Anywhere you want to go, MITS will take you there.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that! That's disgusting! Oh, poop already! You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
Welcome back. It's World AIDS Day, and today the Biden administration announced a new strategy to the end of the HIV/AIDS pandemic as part of a public health threat by 2030.
The 5-year plan will focus on collaboration in fighting the disease, addressing equity issues and the stigma and discrimination around HIV, and strengthening public health initiatives. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Geither has more on how far we've come in AIDS treatment and prevention, and why there's still more work left to be done.
Advances in treatments have led to fewer deaths from AIDS since the beginning of that epidemic, but this disease is still around.
For a lot of people, HIV is almost an invisible condition. But what we know is that, we still have over 30,000 new infections in the U.S. every single year.
Dr. Carlos Malvis-Tuto treats HIV and AIDS patients at Ohio State's Wexner Medical Center. He says awareness remains critical as many people are living with HIV and don't know it.
You can trace 40% of new infections to people who actually were unaware of their own diagnosis.
Malvis-Tuto says we now have tools to help prevent HIV infection in those who are at risk, and treatments are now available which allow for people who have the disease to live normal lives.
Even though we don't have a cure yet, as long as somebody is keeping up with their treatment, then they can manage it perfectly well.
However, work still needs to be done. Malvis-Tuto says we need to normalize testing and make sure all people are able to get HIV care.
If we don't ensure access, equal access for everyone with HIV, then we will not be able to end the pandemic.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Survivors of the fatal mass shooting at Robb Elementary School have filed a $27 billion class action lawsuit against multiple law enforcement agencies. According to the lawsuit, despite active shooter training, law enforcement, quote, fundamentally strayed from conducting themselves in conformity with what they knew to be the well-established protocols and standards for responding to an active shooter. The lawsuit went on to reference the dysfunction and extended time period law enforcement took to respond to the shooting. Separately, on Tuesday, survivors and families of the victims filed another lawsuit seeking $6 billion from firearm manufacturer Daniel Defense and Uvalde's gun store Oasis Outback.
Idaho State Police cleared up a confusing statement in a news release just yesterday. They stated that the University of Idaho stabbing attack that occurred on November 13th, which killed 4 students, was indeed targeted. The previous statement made it seem like they didn't know if it was a targeted attack or not, but their release states they meant to say that they have not concluded what the target was, the home or the people inside. No suspect has been identified, and the murder weapon, believed to be a fixed-blade knife, has not been found.
Disasters caused by extreme weather cost more than $115 billion in insured losses worldwide in 2022. Hurricane Ian accounted for up to $65 billion in losses, making it the second costliest hurricane on record after Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Wildfires, devastating winter storms in Europe, and flooding in Australia and South Africa contributed to more than $50 billion in insured losses. Global scientists also blame climate change for rising rainfall rates, leading to increases from damage in hail and flooding.
We got wind, we got warmer temperatures, even got a little bit of rain later on tomorrow night. I have all that in my full forecast after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's just vapor with flavor.
It won't hurt my kid like cigarettes, right?
Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
My kid?
My kid knows it's dangerous.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Emotes say a lot, but they can't say it all. Think your guildmate is struggling? Try these dialogue options. Go beyond emotes. Check in with your guildmates at seizetheawkward.org.
Every day,
Millions of people are connecting
and even though we're overcoming obstacles,
watching each other's backs,
and banding together.
we should still make an effort.
We should still make an effort
to get to know each other,
On a deeper level.
Father,
cosplayer,
Mentor.
actor.
it's time we take a step forward
It's time we take a step forward
Come together
and discover
how accepting our differences
can make us stronger.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Assistant Chief Weather Forecaster Ryan Crump. I hope you all like some wind and some warmer temperatures, even a little bit of rain, because we're going to have a little bit of all of that. Here, we're going to start out with some wind for tomorrow and Saturday. We might see some rain showers a little bit Friday night into Saturday. And of course, it's going to be more of a chance on Monday and Tuesday. At least we're going to have some sunshine after all that rain moves out early on Saturday morning. Clouds, there's some clouds going to be eventually moving into our area as we go throughout the night. But the biggest story I want to tell you is this cold front that came through our area. It's all the way out here, off the coast here. It extended all the way from New York, not New York, all the way from the northeast all the way down to the Gulf Coast of Florida. Even Florida's seeing some of this cold weather. But the big story is going to be that wind. More of that in just a second. 37 degrees was our high temperature today. Of course, it was not up there to 45. Of course, not even close to 70, which was back in 1970. And of course, those temperatures right now, 29 degrees already in Indianapolis, 31 in Muncie, 32 in Lafayette. And of course, the warm spot here in St. Louis is at 41 degrees at this hour. Now, I was just mentioning those winds. Yes, those winds are not a factor right now, but ladies and gentlemen, do not let that fool you, because that is about to change. And I'm going to show you here on this tracker here with these winds. We're going to access to 12, 15, or 20 miles an hour, but look how it explodes to 30 to 35, even close to 40 miles an hour in some of these areas in Winchester, Portland. Even out here in Muncie, it gets close to about 35 miles an hour in terms of the wind gusts, and it continues as we go throughout the day on Saturday. As you see, 32 miles an hour, 31 in Muncie, but then it begins to calm down as we go throughout the day. But we also going to have some rain that we have to worry about as well. Now, it's pretty spotty as we go through the morning hours tomorrow, and as we go through the afternoon hours as well. And then it becomes a little bit more scattered as we go through the night on Friday. As you see down here, you're going to see even a few heavy pockets of rain, and then all that eventually moves out of the area as we go throughout the day on Saturday night into Sunday. And then, of course, you're going to see the rain chart. Friday and Saturday, you're going to see there's going to be some rain. And, of course, Sunday, we're going to be driving. Monday and Tuesday, you're going to see some of those rain chances pick up. Even later on in the week, we might see some snow in there, as you're going to see on my 7-day forecast in just a second. 33 degrees is going to be our temperature at 11 o'clock. We're not going to move too much because of those clouds increasing. And those winds coming out of south is going to help those temperatures enhance into the 50s, as you see, I'm going to see on my 7-day forecast. They see here as well. 39 degrees is how we're going to start the day tomorrow. We're going to warm up to about 54 degrees. As you know, it's going to be pretty windy here, as you see here on my 7-day forecast. 54 degrees tomorrow, but then we're going to be at 52, but then we drop off. We start fall. Temperatures will begin to fall as we go throughout the day on Saturday. 19 degrees, guys. Yeah, we go from 52 early in the morning to 19 degrees on Sunday morning. That's going to be our low temperature, and we're going to have to go right back to winter. But you see, the good news here, it's going to be right around average, 40 degrees, 40s for pretty much most of the week. Until Thursday, you see we're going to drop down to the 30s, and we're going to see, yes, everybody's favorite, the white stuff, snow. So, you know, we're going to obviously have to deal with the snow, but it's not going to be a whole lot of snow, just a very little accumulation. So, you know, we're going to monitor it more to see how that goes and see how that fares.
And you mentioned about 30-mile-an-hour winds. Now, I commute every day, and so I can already hear my dad in my ear telling me, be careful, the wind's going to be awful, be careful. And it's just going to be, it's going to be so bad. Thank you so much, Ryan. Let's toss it over to Max with sports.
College football looking forward to some new changes in the up-and-coming seasons, and Cardinals sports look to build momentum heading into the new month. All that and more next in sports.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
So if one cat has 4 kittens who reproduce every 6 months, how many cats will there be in 5 years? Who's got it? Is this... What is that? Seriously? Who threw that?
Cats are terrible at math, but they sure do multiply. Please spay, neuter, and adopt.
The solution is 10.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Max Robson with sports. After finishing group stage play with a 1-0 win over Iran, the U.S. men's national team turns its attention this Saturday for their round of 16 matchup against the Netherlands. The youngest squad left the World Cup will have to deal with the Dutch wonder kid Cody Gakpo, joint top scorer with 3 goals so far. USA star Christian Pulisic is expected to give it a go after a pelvic contusion Tuesday versus Iran. Sticking with national news, there will be officially more games in the college football playoff. The CFP board announces it will expand its playoff picture from 4 teams to 12 teams beginning in the 2024-2025 season. Earlier this year, the board voted in favor of this expansion, but for it to start in the 2026. However, the College Football Management Committee asked for it to happen sooner. The national championship game for that postseason will be in Atlanta in January 2025 and in Miami the following year. Staying with NCAA playoffs, Ball State women's volleyball enters their matchup with the 4th seed Marquette tonight in Milwaukee. The Cardinals soar into the match 24-8 on the year with 16 wins in their last 18 matches. On the opposite side of the net, Marquette heads into the matchup 27-3 on the season and ranks 16th in the nation. This will be the Ball State's 11th appearance in the tournament. The matchup is taking place as we speak as Marquette is up 2-0. As women's volleyball looks for a win in Wisconsin, Ball State's women's basketball is set to take on Western Kentucky in Worthen Arena tomorrow night. The Cardinals fly up into the matchup 4-2 on the year after 2 road wins over BYU and Utah State, both in the Utah over the break. On the flip side of the coin, Western Kentucky heads into the matchup 1-4 on the season. Tip-off for the matchup is set for 6:30 and will be available on ESPN3. Taking things out to Pennsylvania, Ball State men's basketball takes on Duquesne for their first game back in the States after 3 games stayed in the Bahamas. The Cardinals come into the matchup 4-3 on the season and look to build momentum after losing their previous game 67-65 to San Jose State. Star sophomore Peyton Sparks looks to keep up his play after receiving the MAC Player of the Week award and lead Ball State to a win. Tip-off is set for 2 p.m. this Saturday on ESPN+. Keeping things on the court, Muncie Central Bearcats are off to a hot start. After a 49-47 victory to Wapahani, the team faced off against Garin Catholic last night. Even with a noticeable size difference, Muncie Central able to dominate all game and defeat the Golden Eagles 55-47. Now after a 2-0 start, first-year head coach Justin Ullum is ready to play at the Fieldhouse later on in the season.
Yeah, well, certainly we want to be able to try to compete when the state tournament comes around. We think our sectionals really one of the better 4A sectionals from top to bottom, but we think we can compete for that this year. We get to host it, so trying to just get better each day, each week, so that we're playing our best basketball when that sectional comes here to the Fieldhouse.
Ullum and the rest of the Bearcats look to improve to 3-0 on the season when they travel to face off against Logansport next Friday. So, big game for U.S. against the Netherlands. Are you guys going to be watching?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be great. I hope they keep up their win streak. Thank you so much, Max.
After the break, NewsLink Indiana's Jovi Taylor joins us with your campus coverage.
And we have one final check at weather after the break.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Never gonna let you go. Never gonna let
I got it!
Hi.
Can you help me?
I got it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Just like the rules to surviving Zombieland, there are steps you can take to be prepared for an emergency.
It's the right thing to do.
Talk with your family to make a plan. Look for safe areas to meet up if separated. And stock up on supplies. It's never too early to get prepared, so start now.
Right now?
Right now. You can't predict emergencies, but you can be ready.
You're welcome, America.
Visit ready.gov today to learn more.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. My name is Joey Taylor, and this is your campus coverage. With the end of the semester coming up, the Smith-Wilson dorm hosted their weekly sketchbook night in the Smith-Wilson Design Studio. Clay Fields, a senior who hosts the sketchbook nights, expand on just what sketchbook nights is and their overall goal.
Really just the time for residents to be able to come down and like work on their work and build community with each other and kind of just chat and have fun.
To Fields, the best part about being the host of sketchbook nights is knowing that she is helping her fellow community in an interactive and artistic way.
You know, it's really cool what people are able to create and everything. We thank you so much for all that, Jovi.
Absolutely. And so let's take one last look at weather with Ryan.
Well, guys, you see that we're going to actually be back into the 50s after a pretty cold past couple of days. But then we're going to drop right back down, as you see there, in the 40s on Monday, Sunday through Thursday and Wednesday. But Thursday, we're going to be back in the 30s with some snow possibly. And now, guys, I know this has been a long time coming for me, but after 4.5 years of being here at Ball State, it's just my time to say goodbye to Ball State University and NewsLink, Indiana. It's been a great experience for me, a very good experience. I mean, this is where it all started for me. It basically started here in NewsLink, Indiana. You know, I learned how to weather forecast here. I learned how to do the duties of a meteorologist. So now I can officially say I'm a meteorologist. However, there was some issues and challenges along the way. As you know, I didn't always have the most support from everybody, but I had to do it all by myself. And this was what got me here, you know. Entering NewsLink, Indiana back in 2018, you know, I didn't know how to do anything. I didn't know how to read a graphic off the, you know, I didn't know how to read no graphic properly. I didn't even know how to do a midday shift. I mean, they almost wanted to kick me out of the organization. I was told 4 different times that maybe weather forecasting isn't for you, even by the leaders 3 times. But hearing that, guys, just hearing that gave me the hard work, dedication, and perseverance to make it to where I am right now. I want to thank those people, the teammates, the people in the studio back there, the ones behind me, the ones here in this fishbowl here that helped me, you know, kept me motivated throughout the times when I really needed them the most. You know, in my especially the people that was here in my early days, you know, they the ones to make sure I knew how to do a midday show. You know, and some of them even stuck out here constantly to make sure I knew what I was doing. And this one person in particular that helped me keep me from actually getting kicked out of NewsLink, Indiana. You know, it helped me become one of the leaders of this organization. And that's the one thing I wanted to do when I first came here, is I wanted to become a leader. And I also thank those people, like my family, some of my family, like my cousin. She always messages me on my web videos. I mean, I always appreciate her endless support, you know. And of course, my grandmother. I know she's no longer here, but she always called me Weatherman Crump. Yes, she called me Weatherman Crump. You know, and she always said, you know, when are you going to become a meteorologist? When are you going to become a weatherman? I can't wait to see you on TV. and she said that I told her I'll get there one day. I wish you could see me here and see my learning progress. And of course, my close friend, and I can't forget about her too, you know. She gave me a place to stay when I first moved here from Chicago, and so I could resume school. She knew that I wanted to come back to school, and I told her I wanted to come to Ball State University and to make sure I made this happen, you know. I know that those two aren't here anymore, but their support is greatly appreciated. And of course, this is a message for you all and everybody over here as well, you know. If you want to achieve a goal, make sure that you have the perseverance, you have the hard work and dedication, and you do not let anybody tell you that you can't do anything.
Yes, yes, and thank you so much for all the work you've put into NewsLink Indiana. Ryan, you have been an absolute pleasure to work with.
Thank you all. Thank you all.
That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in to our sister show, Waking Up with Cardinal Weather, tomorrow morning at 8.
And for news anytime, anywhere, go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night.